Good morning, everyone. This is Leslie Pogue, your Chief Happy Officer and founder of LP Speak. Welcome to your Hear Your Truth Tuesday. Today, we are going to be talking about don't chase the money, chase the purpose. I don't remember how I came across it. I was going through something yesterday, and it was a quote that came up while I was working on something else, and I just said, "Oh wow, that has to be something," because with all the inflation and everything that's going on right now, it's real easy to focus on the money. I mean, it's easy to focus on the money anyway, anytime, right? Exactly. With the right situation coming up, it's easy to think about that and only get fixated on, the money that you can make. And so what's important though is that is a temporary fix. Yes, it's great to make a great living. Yes, it's great to go after the money, but you really want to go after your passion. That's really where you get fulfillment, where you find you're happy, honestly, because money's great, but then, like anything else, you ultimately raise the bar of what the expectation is, which is a good thing, but it can also be misused, right? The focus is on the wrong place. And you end up feeling empty and then wondering why. It's because you weren't feeding your soul. You weren't feeding that passion, that love, the purpose of your life. You weren't feeding that. And that's really where you want to go. And in the world we're in now, there's so many opportunities that we really just don't think about. We don't think outside the box. We think about those traditional ways. Well, let me rephrase that. The younger people do. Those of us who are a little bit older, we're used to the normal, I didn't say normal because that's not true either. We're used to the past rules. You go to school, you get a job to get a job, you want a good paying job, and you don't really think about the job that you want necessarily. I applaud people who get a degree in something they love and then move into a career that is around something they love. I admire people who do that. That said, there are so many people that know that I need a job, so I got to get a job. And they go out and get a job and find themselves in that job for 5, 10, 20 years, and they're miserable, but they've raised their family, they've made a savings, and while they've made a pretty good life for themselves, they're miserable. That's not a solution either. I mean, it's great to create a comfortable living, but if you dread every day, where's the win in that? There's no reward for that misery that you're feeling. So today I want to talk a little bit about purposeful action, thinking about what you really want, where you want to go with it, what you'd like to see in your life, and how to approach it from a place and from the world we're in today, because that's the other piece too. We're in a different time, and the opportunities are outstanding, honestly. They are just so vast and amazing that it doesn't make sense not to take advantage of that. So make sure that you are reaching for something that gives you purpose. And how do you do that? Well, first, don't settle just because of a high price tag. And if you do that, do it temporarily. If you're building a business, sometimes you have to keep a job. Sometimes you have to get a job after you've started that business. If you have an idea, maybe you want to build an app, maybe you want to um, go to art school, or you want to do something that isn't going to immediately bring you that financial stability. If you decide to get a job in the meantime or in addition to, still find something in that area that you're trying to grow into, because that opens the door of networking. It opens opportunities for you. And it also still feeds that passion that you have, that you're not settling for a job, a traditional job. And when creative people and entrepreneurs find themselves having to get a traditional job, It is draining. It is one of those things where they just feel like they've lost or they failed, and it's not a good feeling. So make sure that you are taking that time to feed that voice inside of you that is screaming, this is what gives me joy. This is what gives me pleasure. Also, planning. Now, planning is tough for some people, but you have to have a plan and you have to know where you want to go. So act before you get to the point of no return. If you have a plan and you are working that plan, then you'll know ahead of time when things are starting to go a little south, when money's running out, when you're not getting the results that you wanted or that you hoped you would get. And you can pivot, you can make another change, and you can go in another direction and make sure that you're taken care of, you and your family's taken care of before it becomes a dire situation, before you have to be driven by money. I know you're hearing the dog barking. My neighbors have a dog that loves to just bark. Um, so, anyway, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by the barking. Um, so, again, plan on follow your plan. Make sure that you have a plan for your growth, for your future, for what you want to do, because that way you can see the progression and you can also forecast what's needed, what's missing. It's just a better way to approach that passion, that thing that gives you joy. And lastly, get creative. Get your purpose out there and let your purpose become a source of income for you. If you are in a job or you're doing something that you just feel like there's no joy. And again, when you're managing a mental illness, it's easy to get stuck in that place. It's really easy to wallow in the things that aren't working, to really be nervous about the stuff that's coming up, and to live in that anxiety and stress and panic, because it's possibly also part of that illness. When our money isn't right, that adds a level of stress, whether you have a mental illness or not. So recognizing what you need to live the life you want, making a plan on how to make that happen, but incorporate the things that you love, the things that you feel passionate about, the things that you get excited about. By incorporating those joys and those actions in your plan, you're less likely to get stuck in the heaviness of how life can feel every day. So think about value added action. Again, don't settle just because the price tag is high. It's great if you can do both, but when you're managing a mental illness, sometimes it's one or the other situation. So you have to choose your battles and go after that thing that's going to keep the joy alive every day. Plan, make sure that you're looking at your forecasting, look at what's coming up, look at what's going out, and look at what money you need. And not just what you need, but what you need to have a fun and enjoyable life, not just what you need to pay your bills, right? You want to also be able to afford to go on vacation, to still go out with friends, to still have pleasures and enjoy life, because it's life, you want to get out there and enjoy it. And then, like I said, get creative. There's so many opportunities and so many jobs and so many skills that you have that overlap into careers that you probably never even considered. And look into that. Look and see what skills you have that are transferable into other areas that you never thought about. All right, I hope that was helpful. Again, go after that passion and tell your truth to yourself about it. Be honest with you about what's working and what's not. And if you need some additional inspiration, follow me on Facebook at LP Speak and follow me on Instagram at LP Speak. You can go to happyacademy.teachable.com. I've uploaded a free webinar on inclusion, and there are a lot of new things coming up on the on my Happy Academy Teachable site. So check that out. And then, of course, go to my website to get your 10 practices to achieve the habit of happy at www.lpspeak.com. All right, that's it for us on this Tuesday. As always, until next time, go, be, do.